Hello.
Hello. In an attempt to supplement your learning over this impromptu break we've taken from school, Mr. Jewett and I are going to be recording some history episodes here for our students to enjoy.
This is very accurate. And we're kind of making this up as we go. So bear with us. I wish I had a bear prop to... I'm going to stop talking now.
Yeah.
No bear props.
The important thing, of course, is that you're following the rules that we've given for this pseudo-quarantine, social distancing. Don't go into large public places. Just Skype, FaceTime each other, play Fortnite. I'm actually giving you permission to do that.
Well, do our work too.
Make sure the work gets done. Your buy-in is really important. We've put a lot of time into getting this work together, and we'd like to be able to show the state of Maine at the end of this remote learning experience that you've all learned something, because if we don't buy in, then there was no point in doing this in terms of an education standpoint, the health standpoint, obviously. But without the buy-in, it might not count. Not to threaten you. We're not threatening you. But it's important that this work gets done.
So with that, on top of the work, we've also decided, well, let's have some fun because, well, we're going to be bored because, we are supposed to isolate away from everybody that we know.
Yep. No friends.
I have none.
No family.
I have some.
No nothing. Can't even go to Canada. Canada just closed its borders.
Yeah.
You can't even go to Canada.
Waterville's gone. Well, it's not gone, but everything's closed down. Bangor's closed down. If you want to go to a restaurant, you got to order and go pick it up outside of the building. They won't let you go in.
As of recording this is the last official day we're even supposed to be in this building. We actually have to ask permission to come back if we want to come back to do anything, which is why we've been packing everything up and getting ready to send it on buses or have your parents come get it tomorrow.
Please do.
Yeah, get your stuff. Seriously. Get your stuff.
Also, especially after you've been out in public, make sure to not touch your face like I just did. And if you'd like to handshake someone, here's the proper way. Dink.
There you go.
Yep.
No handshakes.
Don't do
no
it.
Hugs.
Well, you're not supposed to do that in school anyway. A lot of people still do. I catch you in the hall hugging, and I say don't hug. What do? Still hug.
Yeah.
But now just elbow touch. Dink.
There you go.
Yep, there it is.
Anyway, the 1920s, we're going to refresh on things leading up to the Great Depression. We are starting with some Great Depression stuff, just to kind of get you guys ready for when we get back. We can get into it with more detail. So, as you may recall, the 1920s, decade of prosperity, sort of. It was a decade of prosperity in the sense that they were throwing imaginary money at people, and you could promise to pay for that later. It's called buying on credit and then buying on margin. So you could buy things and only pay 10% of what you were supposed to and promise to pay back the rest moving forward. And that system works great as long as you have your job and you're making money and you're paying your loans and the Great Depression doesn't start and the stock market keeps going up so people are happy.
But alas, here we are at the end of the 20s, and that all went, well, down the toilet.
Yes. There were these things as the crash began, and everybody started losing money, $700 million lost in a single day to investors, minor details.
Yep.
People panicked. And when people panic, especially about money, they go to the bank, and they go to the bank to collect all the money they have. The problem is, if everybody who has money in a bank goes to a bank for that money, the bank doesn't actually have that much cash in it. That's why we use dollars, not the gold standard, but we don't even have all the dollars. So they did these things called bank runs, which is when everybody runs, literally, to the bank and says, give me all my money right now. And the bank might not actually have that.
Now, you guys, some of you, might be aware of the shortage of things grocery stores might have. So, for example, right now, with this fear of the pandemic of the coronavirus, the COVID-19, It's a very similar situation as toilet paper. Much like there was runs on the banks in the end of the 1920s and early 30s, we now have runs on toilet paper in current times.
I guess you could say people are trying to avoid the runs by making a run on toilet paper.
It's not a symptom though, right?
No, I don't
No.
know why. They're going to go through and discover that we had plenty of toilet paper, but not enough washing of our hands. Very strange. Anyway,
Moving on.
so to go along with this, farmers had been overproducing food for a long time, and it had been supported because of the war, but there was no more war. The government stopped supporting it, so the farmers are overproducing food, can't sell the food. Great Depression actually starts in the Midwest a lot earlier than it does in the cities because these farmers are losing all their land and they can't sell their products and they're going into bankruptcy and losing literally everything. And this is even before the stock market crash.
Yeah, right at the beginning of the 1930s, the first few years of the Great Depression, you have 750,000 farms shut down, closed, families kicked off, filed bankruptcy. They are now homeless and have nothing
Yep.
except for what they could fit in their cars.
And then the car usually broke down. So,
Yeah.
not fun times.
No, then you're stuck on your way going to California.
So we'll wrap this one up by talking about what a stock market crash means. Because the stock market goes up and down. That's the nature of the business. It's just a crash is when it goes down and there's no bounce back. It just, people start selling and they keep selling and selling and selling. And eventually there's just no more money and everyone's stock value goes down. And people do this for a lot of reasons. It could be a panic about, sometimes it's just everybody else's stocks start going down. In the stock market game, we saw Mammoth Oil was discovered to be fraudulent, and then its price cratered because they realized they've been breaking the law. In 2008, the housing market burst because people had been allowed to buy houses at ridiculously low prices and rates, and then we realized that was unsustainable and that those mortgages weren't realistic, and then we had a significant recession.
And then over the past 10 years or so, our stock market has been on the rise until very recently. COVID-19's kind of hit everything hard, and we've seen some of the lowest or the most significant drops in the stocks in the past 30 plus years. Just yesterday, it dropped what, 3,000?
Something like that.
Close to 3,000 points just in one day, which is a 10% drop, which is unheard of.
Yeah, and definitely not a good sign. One, I guess you could call it silver lining here, is that this isn't related to any significant economic challenge. It's not like all the people in the, like, it's not like every car plant shut down or anything like that, which would be a bigger deal. The market will stabilize as the coronavirus stuff also stabilizes, but right now it's because of COVID-19 that the stock market has been in free fall. To go along with that, the price of oil is going down, which has been making people panic. Maybe not regular people. Gas is cheap. Everybody likes it when gas is cheap. But if you're a country that makes a lot of oil, like Saudi Arabia, you're maybe not necessarily super happy about that. What are you looking at?
What am I looking? Well, I'm just kind of trying to think of something to wrap this up with. There is a video that has been made of different Italians speaking about what they would have told themselves 10 days ago to help stop the spread of the coronavirus, and to stay inside and to listen to your elders, because sometimes they actually do know what they're talking about. So if you're curious, I would highly suggest Google searching Italians make stay-at-home video on coronavirus, and it's pretty good stuff.
All right. So this is just episode 1. There will be more to come. In about 7 seconds, we're going to hit that classic 10-minute YouTube algorithm. We got to grow the brand,
Yep.
expand our clout, become big in the YouTube business.
We really
and
want that
retire from
1,500
teaching.
subscribers.
Just a quick announcement for hourly staff.
That's not us.
If you have not
It's not
turned in
us.
your time cards, please do so within the next 10 minutes. Thank you.
Good thing we're not on a time crunch.
Oh yeah. All right. So that's all for now. Tune in. I guess we'll delay release these day to day.
Yes, we will.
And you'll see us on the next episode.
Stay safe.